So one of the biggest concerns people have about Medicare is how much it will actually cost them. So can you walk us through what people can expect to pay for Medicare and the different costs that are involved?
Absolutely. The When someone enrolls in original Medicare with the government, with their Medicare Part A and Part B, Part B has a cost. Part A is something that people have earned. If they've worked at least 10 years and paid into Social Security for at least 10 years, they do not have a Part A premium. They've earned it. It's not free. It was earned. It was paid into. Somebody did that. I hate it when people say it's free because it's not. People have worked for it. The Part B does have a premium involved. The standard Part B premium, and this changes every year, but in 2025, it's $185 even. So to enroll, when someone enrolls in Medicare Parts A and B, they would then have $185 monthly premium. Most all the time, that monthly premium is paid through a Social Security deduction. So they're already on Social Security. That money's deducted from that to pay the Medicare premium. Occasionally, I'll have people that are eligible for Medicare, but they're not on Social Security yet. In that case, they can enroll in Medicare Parts A and B, and generally they're going to be billed quarterly by the government. It's $185 a month, but just be 3 times that for the quarterly bill. So that's what the original Medicare would cost. Now, if you're a high income person, starting this year, I believe it's at $103,000 for an individual, $206,000 filing jointly. You may pay an additional premium. They charge you more for those that have a higher income. But the vast majority of people I work with, it's that $185 as far as the Part B cost. If somebody has a Medicare supplement, then they're also going to have to pay the premium for the Medicare supplement. Now, there's 10 different Medicare supplement plans, all the way A through N. So there's various costs for those. They can be very inexpensive. They can run as much as maybe a couple $100 a month. Okay. So that would be the cost. So Medicare supplements, probably anywhere from around $60 to $200 a month in our area, depending on what plan you are, et cetera. If you own a Medicare supplement, you'd also have to have a standalone Part D plan. Standalone Part D plans, there's some, believe it or not, are actually zero cost, but I think you'd see reasonably to expect to pay anywhere between around $27 a month to upwards of $92 a month for a standalone Part D plan for somebody who's on a Medicare supplement plan. Now, it's a whole different world if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare Advantage, you still have to pay that $185 to the government. Seems like you never get away from paying that money to the government. So still got to pay that $185 to the government, assuming you're not on Medicaid or getting other additional help, because that would change it. But just for the standard cost is $185 a month. If you take a Medicare Advantage plan, that's it. There's no premium involved in a Medicare Advantage plan. So you don't pay a monthly premium. It would just be that $185. As I mentioned earlier, there are dual special needs plans for those on Medicaid where they can get additional assistance. And for everybody's eligible for what's called a Part B give back plan, where they're paying almost all, in some cases, almost all of the Part B premium. So there's plans out there where you might end up only paying $10, $40 a month, something like that, because your plan's paying most of it. So there's lots of different options, and that's kind of where once again, where I come in. We take a look at all of these things and what's going to cost, what somebody's eligible for. And one of the things, Jonathan, when you get to cost, remember this, it's the same pie. The Medicare pays the carriers, and then the carriers decide how they're going to spend that money. So they might spend it on, lower copays at the hospital, low copays at the doctor, or they might spend it on a Part B give back. One thing I haven't even mentioned is these plans often will even have things like over-the-counter benefits, where they might have a $25 to $45 benefit a quarter for over-the-counter, things like aspirin or, even like a blood pressure cuff, things along those lines. So, lots and lots of different options. But if you're looking from a cost comparison basis, you're definitely going to see the Medicare Advantage is going to be a better cost situation as far as premium. Now, if you look at the overall, sometimes though, you also have to factor in, what kind of coverage, that type of thing. So it really does get involved, and that's really where I come in. And when I meet with people, I'm able to literally shop everything that's available in the market for Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare supplements. We can compare them, and we can compare them side by side, look at 3 of them together. And that's really what you have to do. And you have to go item by item. There's literally on some of these things, a couple hundred items. You know, I mean, it's what's the doctor copay, what's the hospital copay, what's skilled nursing, what's durable medical equipment, well, what's chiropractic, what's dental, it goes on and on. So it really does get a bit involved. And, you know, and the beauty of it is not only is it so involved, well, then they change it each year. You know, I mean, we had a big change this year in the coverage, the max amount of pocket on medications under Part D. Last year, prior to 2025, you had an $8,000 max amount of pocket, and you had something called a donut hole that just more confusing than you can imagine. They got rid of all that. This year, there's only a maximum $2,000 under medications, but it's rippled throughout the whole rest of the plan because now the carriers are having to pay so much more for the medications. What they've done is we've seen them put in deductibles for drugs. In the past, it was fairly unheard of. It's not unusual now to see somebody with a $590 drug deductible, okay? Medication deductible. Generally, you only see that on drugs that are tiers 3 or higher, your more expensive ones. Your tiers 1 and 2 would not have a deductible involved. Those are your generic drugs. But so we've seen that this year. We've seen hospital copays go up. We've actually seen people pull out, particularly the Part D standalone plans. We talked about those briefly for someone who has a Medicare supplement. We've seen some of those leave the market this year. So there's always going to be a response to, you know, how Medicare does things and change the rules. And quite frankly, they change them every year. So that's another reason why you need a local broker, somebody like myself who keeps up with it. I got to tell you, not only do I keep up with it, I give these presentations a couple times a week. So it's something I do on a regular basis. And it's really a favorite part of my job is to get out there and be in front of folks and, you know, answer questions. And I'll tell you, the people out there are pretty well educated, but unfortunately there's so much information, and then they hear one thing from one neighbor, then they hear something else from their brother-in-law, then they hear something else from their cousin, and it gets to be, well, I heard this was this or this was that. Well, yeah, it might not have been, you know, you really got to get to the bottom of it.
Thanks for watching part 6 of our Medicare series. In part 7 of our Medicare series, the final episode, we'll answer the question, what is the best Medicare plan? Don't miss it. Follow us for more Medicare insights.